Hey everyone, if you're new here, my name is Hannah and welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe to be a part of the family. Let's jump into the video. Today's video is going to be the second installment of my top 5 series. So we're going to be talking about my top 5 foundations today. So I have got a mixture of high-end and affordable drugstore foundations. Yeah, I do. Had to double check them, but I do. And yeah, so basically I'm just going to go through the top 5 foundations that I use regularly and why I like them so much and why I think that they might be good for you guys. So none of these are going to be in any particular order, but you guys probably already know what my number 1 favourite is anyway. So first off, we've got the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation. So this one is quite expensive. This one is 80 Australian dollars, I think. So it's quite on the expensive side. It's not cheap at all. It is in the regular 30 mil. I think it's 30 mils. Doesn't say it on the bottle. I think it's the regular 30 ml bottle, so you're getting like the regular size, but like I said, it is on the more expensive side. But this is the most full coverage foundation that I've ever tried. Don't think it's the right colour for me anymore. I might have to go a darker shade and still trying to get my lighter shade as well. But this is hands down the most full coverage foundation that I've ever tried. This lasts amazingly. So like, I think one time I put this on at like 10 AM and I think I took it off at 11 o'clock at night time. So that's like 13 hours worth of wear and it still looked pretty much the exact same as when I put it on. So that is definitely something that makes this a remarkable foundation. So yeah, you don't need a lot of this foundation either, so this will last longer than a regular foundation. It's whether you want to spend the money or not is just the question really. But this is just, I put this one right at the top of my list. This is a must-have. If you can afford it, this is a must-have. If you can't, save up your money and spend it on something that is going to be your holy grail. This is amazing. This is good for dry skin, oily skin, every kind of skin. This is good for it. And yeah, I just really love this one. I can't say anything bad about this foundation. It's my favorite, hands down. So next up, I'm going to talk about the LA Girl Pro Coverage Foundation. So this is the long wear illuminating version. They did just come out with a mattifying version, but I haven't tried that one yet because we can't get it in Australia yet. We never get anything straight away. We always have to wait months. So we'll wait and see about that one. This one has been one of my favorites for many months. This one is obviously more of the hydrating sort of foundation. It is definitely affordable. I got this one on Black Swallow Boutique for $15. So this is definitely on the affordable side. They do have quite a variety of colours as well, which is really good. And yeah, I love this foundation. This is best for those days where my skin is feeling more on the dry side. I do have very oily skin, but sometimes it is on that bit of a drier side, so I like to use something like this on days like that. This is really good coverage as well. Not quite as full coverage as the Marc Jacobs, but it's definitely got really good coverage for the price, and it stays on pretty much the whole day. I remember I wore this when I went to Thailand. I wore it when we went on one of our tours and I wore it, and I ended up going swimming as well, and my foundation was still on my face afterwards. So this is pretty good. It's pretty good. I love it. Next up we have the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte. This one is amazing too. I really love this as well. I think this one is 50 Australian dollars, so it's about $30 cheaper than the Marc Jacobs, almost half the price. And yeah, this one is pretty good as well. The only thing about this one is that it's more on the matte side, so it's definitely more for somebody with oily skin. It definitely works for somebody with dry skin if you put down a really hydrating base, but it's definitely more on the mattifying side, so preferably if you've got oily skin, this is definitely a good one for you. They do have a large variety of colours, which is the main reason why this is such a great foundation and why everybody loves it. This has 40 shades, and there are so many deeper shades in this one as well as the lighter shades, which makes this such a great foundation as well. Not only by it being a great formula and lasting really well and being really high coverage, it also has tons of shades, so everybody can get this one pretty much. So yeah, I love this one. I have 2 shades in this one because it's actually really easy to get these shades rather than the Marc Jacobs. It's actually quite hard if you're fair skinned to get those shades because they literally sell out so quickly. But with this one, it's so easy to get them. They have a ton of different shades, and it's really easy to pick something that's going to suit you. And yeah, so this is the foundation that I'm wearing today, and yeah, it just looks really nice. It lasts really well. I could have this on just like the Marc Jacobs on for 12-13 hours and it will still look just as good as it did when I first put it on, and it keeps me matte all day. So yeah, I love this one for those reasons. Next up, back to more affordable foundation. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1. So this is basically a foundation and a concealer in one. It's really super full coverage, like so full coverage, pretty much like the Marc Jacobs, slightly less, but up there with it, especially for the drugstore price. It is so close to the coverage of the Marc Jacobs that it's not even funny anymore. This one I got for $18, I think it was $18. They're around, you know, $18 to $20 depending on the site that you buy off of. And yeah, so these are really full coverage. The only issue is that there isn't a very large colour, like there isn't a very large shade range, but you know, they're pretty good. So this is the, I think was the lighter shade. I think they have a new lighter shade now, but this one originally was the lightest shade, and it was way too dark for me. I have to mix this with a lighter foundation to actually use it for my face, but they do have a lighter one now, I think, if I'm correct. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, so the shade range isn't the best, but this is a really full coverage foundation. It does last a fair bit of time, not as long as the Marc Jacobs or the Fenty Beauty or even the LA Girl, but it does last a fairly well for the price and for the coverage as well. So if you're going on a night out and you want to just like use this for a couple of hours while you're going out, this is a perfect one for that. Perfect for that. And last of all, I've got the Estee Lauder Double Wear. So this is the Stay in Place makeup. This one is absolutely amazing, especially if you have oily skin. So this formula is more on the drying side again. It's definitely very mattifying and it will keep you matte all day and last all day. Once again, this is more on the expensive side. This is about 54 Australian dollars. This is not quite as full coverage as the Fenty or the Marc Jacobs, but this one is quite full coverage. It has a largish range of shades, and it is really, really mattifying. So if you have very oily skin, this one is definitely going to be one of those foundations that I would recommend to you. It is obviously the higher end foundation, but it's definitely worth it. You don't really need a lot of this either, which makes it so much better for the price. And yeah, I actually really love this. This is probably one of the first foundations that I absolutely fell in love with, and I've used it ever since. I don't use it as often as anything else, but this is really good for those days where I'm super, super oily, and it's just amazing. It's amazing. And they have such great colours as well, like great shades. Love it. Anyway guys, so that was my top 5 favourite foundations and the reasons why. I hope that this video was somewhat informative to you and maybe helped you decide if any of these foundations would be good for you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.